everybody. How are you today? Today is a beautiful day. The sun is shining, the wind is blowing just a little bit, the snow is finally gone. It's so nice, except my backyard is a mess because of all the melted snow. So now the backyard is like a mud pit, but it is warm outside. Oh my goodness, I can't even say how excited I am that it is finally getting warm. I'm in the Midwest, northern Illinois, and it's been cold and snowy, and I'm just done. I'm just over it. So, anyways, I'm happy today, but my name is Carrie, or Freckled Whimsy. Today is Sunday, March 15th, because yesterday was Pi Day. Today is March 15th, Sunday. And welcome back to those of you who have joined me in my second episode. I'm kind of more nervous in this episode than I am the first one. So many people came and watched my first one. I was so excited, and so many subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't even tell you how excited and happy and geeked out I get over, I got another subscriber, I got another one. It's just fun to know that people are interested in what I have to say. So I'm a little bit more nervous because now there's a bar set, right? So I have to make sure I keep that. No, but hopefully you guys can just sit back and relax and have fun. Okay, I'm Carrie. Hello again. You can find me mostly on Ravelry as Carrie Lynn, or even more so on Instagram, and I'm Freckled Whimsy on Instagram. And I also have an Etsy shop, and it's thefreckledwhimsy.etsy.com. If you're interested, I do sell project bags, but I won't get into too much detail on that. But that's where you can find me if you're interested, or of course, if you're watching this, you found me on YouTube as Freckled Whimsy, so yay, welcome back. And to anybody who didn't see my first episode, thank you for coming, because anybody that wants to watch is welcome, and hopefully you can grab your knitting and your tea or your coffee or your soda or whatever it is that you may be drinking and just sit back and relax and watch and have fun. Okay, I kind of have show notes, but I kind of ran out of steam on show notes, so I'm kind of just winging it. It's what I did last time. I don't want it to be scripted. I know I don't want to forget anything, but if I follow a script, I don't know. To me, that's the way that I work. I just think that is just a little not what I would normally do. So we're kind of just going to wing it. And hopefully we won't bounce all over the place too much. I actually have a table up in front of me this time, so I won't be reaching down for stuff. I have everything here, so I shouldn't forget anything unless it's not right in front of me. But that's okay. I did say at the end of the last episode that I would see you in 1 to 2 weeks. It has been about 2 weeks, mostly because I didn't really have a lot to talk about or show you last week, and I don't want to podcast just to podcast. I want to podcast because I have stuff to show you, and I have things to talk about, and I don't want to bore you to death. So I did wait an extra week, and I have lots to show you today, embarrassingly, in some areas. We'll do introductions. The last time I looked at Ravelry, there were a few people that did say hello, and so I wanted to say hello and a shout out to them. If you haven't joined the Ravelry group, I would really love it if you come and join us. The more people we get, the more things we can do to interact and have fun and do giveaways and cals and all that kind of fun stuff. So come and say hi. The group is Freckled Whimsy Knits. So come and join. There's a lot of fun people there already. The few people who posted in the introduction thread, Miss Sue from Two Tangled Skeins, hello! Her and two of her friends do a podcast. It's Sue, it's Lynn, and it's Carrie. That's my name. They do a podcast called Two Tangled Skeins. So if you haven't seen them, go check them out because they're hilarious. they banter back and forth and they pick on each other, and they're just a lot of fun. You can tell they just enjoy what they do and hanging out together, and I really like that camaraderie in podcasts. So go check them out. So hi Sue, thank you for posting and thank you for joining. Abby also came and posted, and I hadn't seen Abby. She has a podcast. It's called Cozy Crafting. And so when she posted it in the introduction thread, I went and found her. And she is so sweet too. Abby, you're a doll. I like to watch you. You have the cutest little kid, the cutest little boy. She's just very genuine and nice and friendly. So Abby, hello and thank you. Welcome. And if you haven't seen Abby's podcast, go check it out. It is Cozy Crafting. Also in the introduction was, I'm not sure if this is your first name. Is your first name Lola? Your username is Lola Rent. I'm not sure if I'll try to look for your first name, but I didn't see it posted anywhere. So, you are from Michigan, and you said hello, and it's nice to hear that you're from Michigan because I actually used to live in Michigan. I used to live in the Grand Rapids area before I moved back here. But so hello to you. And also from Florida is Angela, and her username is Owl's Flight. So hello and welcome to you. I did have to look at your Ravelry page, and I kind of giggled because in your description you wrote "not a weirdo," and it just made me chuckle because I think I'm a weirdo. I think a lot of people are weirdos in their own kind of special way. So embrace the weirdo because it's just fun. And, you know, it doesn't have to be a weirdo in a bad sense. It's a weirdo in a good sense, totally. So embrace the weirdo. I think that's going to be the show title today. Embrace the weirdo. Yeah, I think so. So hi, Angela. So hello, everybody. I haven't checked it in a couple of days because I'm bad. But if anybody else has said hello, I will definitely mention you in the next podcast. But welcome to everybody. And also thank you, of course, to anybody who has watched or viewed or promoted or subscribed to my podcast because it's huge. It just warm fuzzies. It really does. It just makes me happy that people want to come and sit and knit and chit chat and say hello. So thank you. Okay, should we do, I know most people do like works in progress, and then they do finished objects, and then they do enabling. Right? That's how most people do it. But I wonder, I always get excited about enabling. So do people do enabling at the end to see if people will just keep watching until they get to the end? Or do we do enabling in the beginning? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you think it's more fun to wait and hold out on the goodies on the enabling till the end? Or do you think, you know, it'd be okay to mix it up and maybe do enabling first and say, this is all my goodies? Or is it just better to leave, you know, some of the exciting stuff for the end? So let me know in the comments what you think. So we'll do enabling last because that's what I did last time, I think. Yeah. So let's start with a little bit of, it's kind of, I guess it's knitting related, but last time I kind of had said that I was dabbling in dyeing my own yarn, but I was using Wilton's food coloring, which was fine. It was still fun. The process was a little bit different. I mean, it wasn't difficult in any, you know, way, shape, or form, but part of the problem with food coloring is the dyes will split. So if you think about purple, when you make purple, it's red and blue. And when you mix the food coloring, sometimes those reds and blues come out and it's not just purple. Whereas when you use the acid dyes, if you're dyeing purple, it's going to dye purple unless you put something on top of it or you put the purple on top of it. So food coloring is great. It's just some of the colors aren't always cooperative. So I had fun with that, and it's great to start out and test, but I did end up ordering some more undyed yarn. and some acid dyes. So I was playing yesterday and I had so much fun. I actually have more yarn soaking because I want to dye some more today because I had a blast. And I don't know what I'm going to do as far as, you know, if I'm going to do it just for fun, just for playing, or if I'll end up selling it. I guess it kind of depends on what people think and how people feel about it, and if they think it might be something that they want to buy. So that's another thing I would love to hear is, you know, do you think they suck? And that's okay. Constructive criticism is always welcome. Because that's how people learn, right? You make mistakes, that's how you learn from them. And the same with constructive criticism. If you're nice about it and offer suggestions, I'm totally open to that because, you know, if I suck, don't tell me I suck, but maybe offer suggestions or something. But I think they turned out pretty good for really first time with acid dyes. And I didn't really manipulate colors too much. I used the dyes as they were, maybe a lighter shade or a darker shade, but I didn't really like combine anything to get another color. So unless it just happened in the dye pot. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to show you, I dyed 4 skeins yesterday. And let me just show you. This one here, and excuse the little white ties. This was the cotton ties that I did so that I could bind my skein and so that it wouldn't be so tangled. So ignore those. But this one, I want to make sure. Can't tell if that's focusing. There you go. I love how this turned out. It wasn't what it was intended to be. And anybody who's dyed yarn or anything else for that matter probably knows what I mean. Part of the fun in dyeing is really experimenting and seeing what the colors do together. I originally started dyeing this bright yellow. Like you can see this really bright yellow. The whole skein was dyed that bright yellow. And then I added some hot pink, but I didn't, I just added it in a few places. When I took it out, it was really pretty, but I wanted to add some teal into it. Well, I was doing it in a dye pot, so water. I had the skein in the water and I was adding the dye, and I think I had too much water in the pot, so the dye really spread. So when I added that teal, all the yellow that was exposed, because I had some of the yellow tied off so it wouldn't over dye, but where the yellow was, well, what do you get when you have yellow and blue? You get green. So most of the skein turned multiple shades of green, which as I look at it now is really cool. And you get some oranges in there, and you get some deep pinks, almost reds, and you get so many shades of different greens. And then I added some purple. I added some pops of purple in there too. So it turned out really, really pretty. It just wasn't what was in my head when I started. So I learned my lesson with the whole too much water. You know, I watched how many videos it said, you know, the more water you have, the less control. Apparently I didn't learn from that. So it did turn out really well, and I do really like it. I don't know that I would ever be able to replicate it because I didn't really have a recipe. I was kind of just, like I said, experimenting. So that was my first one. I think it looks kind of like rainforesty because when you open the skein, most of it is green, like different shades of green and pops of teal, and there's just these spots of color along the skein. So it's kind of like a rainforest or a jungle with like the pops of birds and stuff like that have the color. So I don't know, I thought that was fun. So that's that one. The second one I did is this guy, and I really like this guy too. This is like, that's not really too true. This should be more of a magenta hot pink kind of a color. Kind of like this right here. But this has all sorts of different colors in it. This one I did hand painting, and I kind of just plopped the colors on any old where they wanted to go. There's blues and hot pinks and teals and purples and greens and yellows. blacks, grays. So I like this one too. I'm curious to see how this one would knit up, but I really did like how this one turned out too, especially for, like I said, the first time. It's so interesting to see because when you are dyeing it, it just looks like a bunch of mush. Like, ooh, I don't know, is this really gonna turn out? Is this gonna be gross? Is it gonna turn brown? And then when you pull it out and you dry it, and it's like, wow. It's just, I don't know, the whole process to me is fascinating. So there was that one. And then I had a skein of bulky. And I wanted to do it in layers of purple. So, because purple is one of my favorite colors. So, there's just like different shades of purple in this. And the reason I wanted to dye this purple, because other than that it's one of my favorite colors, but also because if you haven't seen the little bonbon bunny that Susan Claudino designed and recently released, go look for it. It's so cute, and I've already purchased the pattern, and I want to make it in this bulky because I want it to be fairly big. So I'm gonna make a bonbon with this, and I'm hoping mine will turn out as cute. I haven't really knit any toys before. I started one, I never finished it, and supposedly you knit, like, there is no seaming or sewing. You knit all the pieces, and as you knit, you add them into the body, which to me is amazing because I hate seaming. I don't like it. It's just too tedious and it's hard to match up. So if you can sew them in or knit them in as you're going, that's my kind of pattern. So hopefully by the next podcast, you will at least see one of these cast on. But yes, the Bonbon Bunny, so cute. And if you are on Instagram, you've probably seen a million of them because they're so cute. Mostly Munchies has made a ton. Oh my gosh, I think her name is Melissa. I'm pretty sure. Mostly Munchies on Instagram. Go check her out and see her thread. She makes the most amazing toys and socks, for that matter. If you want to see the cutest bonbons, go there. So that's that one. Okay, my last one is I did this one. I'm trying to see if it's focusing. There you go. So most of the skein is this light pink color with some tones of some deeper pinks. And then I have deep purple, like it's kind of rainbow, but it's kind of a misfit rainbow. There's no orange in it. I did yellow and green and pink and teal and purple and blue. There's a blue in there, but it's more teal than blue, I guess. So it's not like your red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. But I thought it would be fun. And like I said, I didn't really like the green. This is the color of like the base dye. So I didn't do anything to make it a different color green. So I think that when I dye today, I will play with some of the colors and see what they do when I mix them with other colors and then not just on the yarn. But I really like how this one turned out. And then I added some speckles just to the pink. So there's some like bright, let's see if I can find, like if you look here, you can see the speckles. I love the speckles. So that was my 4 skeins there that I dyed. I think they all turned out pretty good for first time. And I will definitely be playing more. Yeah, so, and it's not, I think the hardest part is just letting your creativity go and not be scared of the end result, because you think, oh, I spent money on this yarn. What if it just turns into a big blob of brown? What if I don't like it? What am I going to do? It's all part of the process. I think I learned so much yesterday just by doing 4 different techniques that you can carry on, you know, when you keep going, if you decide to keep going. And I don't think there's any, you know, I mean, unless you just get something that you just really hate, there isn't really necessarily a wrong way to do it. It's just finding what you like in your niche in it. So if you've been thinking about it, I would highly encourage it. It's a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, it's just so much fun to see what happens. It's like a science experiment. Yeah. Weird. Embrace the weird. Embrace the weirdo. Yeah. So that's that. So I'd really like to hear what you think about those, and if it's something that you think that you like, or I don't know, whatever you want to say. I'm open. So that was general, I guess general crafting, sort of. It's still really need to yarn, so I don't have any spinning. I know last time I talked about my attempts and the failures. I haven't picked it up again. I want to. I think what I'm going to do, somebody had said, Daniela had suggested to get a bigger, heavier spool, maybe the one that spins slower, and then to try the Rambouillet. I don't know that I want to purchase another spindle, so I might just try my Bosworth with the Rambouillet and see where we get with that. I just haven't pulled it out yet to do it. Part of me is like, oh, I don't want to screw it up again. I don't want to fail again. But like anything else, you know, you're never going to get it perfect the first time. You got to practice. And it's definitely encouraging when I hear people say that, you know, I've been spinning for a year and I still don't have consistent yarn or singles or what have you. So it's encouraging to know that, you know, it's not a simple process. It's not easy, I guess. So that's encouraging. So I will this week try to pick that back up and see if I can at least get something that resembles spinning and not cap arf. So yeah, so I will. That will be my goal before the next podcast. Whether it's 1 or 2 weeks, I don't know yet. We'll see how next weekend goes. But I will try my spinning again. And I will try it on my Bosworth, and I will try it with the Rambouillet. That was this pretty stuff. This was the Mutant Flamingo by Spun Right Round. So pretty. So before I get into whips, I have found a couple of people that make beautiful things. And one of them is Jess with Milky Robot. I'm sure some of you heard of her. If you haven't, go check her out. She is Milky Robot on Instagram, and she has an Etsy shop called Milky Robot. And she makes these cute little stitch markers, which are actually my favorite. They're the little round jump rings with the bead. Those are my absolute favorite because I don't like super heavy stitch markers, especially when they're on my needles. To me, they're just cumbersome to get the big ones, you know, that are, I don't know. I just haven't, what can I say? I haven't had much luck with them. So I like the ones that have like the little lobster claw thing because I can hook them and see where my progress is. So those are okay. I just don't like the big heavy ones slipping around on my needles, if that makes any sense. To me, they're cumbersome. But anyway, she also dyes yarn. She's an indie dyer, and she had dyed up this color called Invisible Monsters. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I gotta have that. It's one of those things like, I gotta have it. And every time she did a shop update, I miss it every time. Oh, well, on one of her podcasts, she also does a podcast, and it's called A Yarn in My Coffee. How cute is that? A yarn in my coffee, or just yarn in my coffee? It might just be yarn in my coffee, which is adorable because as a knitter, if you drink anything, coffee, tea, milk, soda, at some point, your yarn is always going to be in your drink, right? So, in one of her podcasts, she had said that she had traded her yarn for, I think, yarn or something else with one of her friends. And I was like, she mentioned she liked one of my bags. I wonder if she'd trade me yarn for a bag. So I asked her, and she was like, oh yeah, of course. So we did a little trade. I sent her one of my Misfit Knitting Nanny bags the little sheep on it, and she seems to really enjoy it. So yay, Jess, I'm glad you like it. And then she sent me, and this is part of enabling too, but because it's a swap, I'm going to put it here. But first of all, look at her tag. Milky Robot. Look at that tag. Are those not the cutest doggone little monsters you've ever seen? Oh my gosh. They're so cute. Adorable. But her shop is Milky Robot. This is Invisible Monsters. It's fingering. It's 75 superwash and 25% nylon and 462 yards. And look at this pile of goodness. Actually, let me flip this back. Look. It's so pretty. Different shades of gray, and then the natural, and the pops of hot pink, and a little bit of baby pink. It's just so pretty. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. So she traded me that. She has another one called Earth Mama. Or is it Mama Earth? I think it's Earth Mama. I messed up on Instagram one day. I think it's Earth Mama. That's the next one that I want. I don't know if it'll be a trade or not, but her yarn is really soft and squishy, and it's so pretty. I love that bright, bright pink. So I'm not sure what this will be yet. I'm thinking I was gonna do socks, but maybe a sock hat. I haven't knit a sock hat yet, and apparently they're all the rage. I have needles for it because I've had it in my library for, I don't know, forever. So I think maybe this might be a sock hat just because it's so pretty, and I'm curious to see. I've seen how it knits up in socks because she's knitting socks right now, but I'm curious to see how it would knit up in a sock hat. So that's enabling, trade, swap. Yeah, so pretty. Go check her out. And her podcast is really fun too. Another trade I did is with Falula. Hi, Stephanie. I don't know if you watch, but hi, Stephanie. We also did a swap. She liked my bags, I liked her bags, and so we decided, well, hey, let's just swap bags. So we did. So she is Falula, and she is from Stitch Marks the Spot. She sent me this adorable macaroon. How do you say that? I've never ever actually eaten one of these. They look fabulous. I have really no idea what they are. They look like little cakes with frosting in the middle. I have no idea. I really should look it up, right? Because they look fabulous, and I see them all over Instagram, and they're the prettiest little things. But I really don't know what they are, what's in them. So I've been eyeing this bag because I love this fabric, and so she sent me this, and it's got this handle, and this is the same fabric that's on the inside, and then this cute little zipper pull. And she also sent me, which I guess can lead into one of my works in progress. She sent me a pair of 9-inch needles. And I actually have some Haya in the 9-inch. And I've been too chicken to try them. I really have, because they're so little, and I'm so dependent on the longer needles because I don't know, the way I knit, I hold more of the needle. So, but anyway, she sent me a pair of the Chiagu, I don't know, the one you get from Tuesday Mornings, which I don't think I have around here anywhere. So they are these little bitty, this is a sock cuff on here, if you can see that. There it goes. And those two little pointy things sticking out, that's the rest of the needle. That's all the room you have to knit. And I knit the whole cuff with it, and that seemed to go faster. It was still a little bit fiddly for me because there's really not much to hang on to. And I started knitting in the round. I don't know. I can't say if I like it or not yet. It's one of those things that I just have to work on for a little while to see how it plays out. It's definitely faster. But my hands got really cramped, And I know it's a top complaint for a lot of people, is that your hands just get cramped. And I think a part of it is just like muscle memory, and it's something new because you're holding, the way you have to hold your needles are completely different than whether you do magic loop or if you do DPNs or whatnot. It's totally different. So I'm not going to stop on this. This yarn is so pretty. This is, I think it's Unicorn Rainbow Glitter Fight by Cyborg Craft Room. Come on. There we go. And it's just all the colors of the rainbow, and there's glitter in it. And I bought this yarn not only because it's pretty, but because of the name. Rainbow Unicorn Glitter Fight. I mean, come on. Rainbow Unicorn Glitter. Sold. I've had this for a little while. And so I had it balled up even for a while. So I cast it on. So we'll see how it goes, or if I'll transfer them to regular needles. But I mean, it's different. Like I said, the cuff is the slowest part for me because when I have to purl, I knit different. I'm a thrower when I have to purl, and I knit continental when I just knit, which is so weird. But because I switched from throwing to continental, and I haven't gotten down the purling yet, knitting continental. So yeah, I'm still trying to learn that, and I'm hoping to convert completely to continental. But then just in the process, and it's purling still for whatever reason is tough, and it messes up my gauge. So this went faster. So yeah, she sent me the bag, the 9-inch needles, and she sent me a skein of yarn. This is from Family Roots. I don't know if I've heard of this yarn, which doesn't mean anything because I know there's a lot out there that I haven't heard from. It's called Lemonade Stand, and it's really, really pretty. So pretty. That's pretty true. Pinks and greens and purples. It's kind of pastel-y. Pastel-y, I don't know if that's a word, but it's really, really pretty. So I'm excited to see how this knits up as well. And she sent me some stitch markers. Do I have them in here? I do. Look at these stitch markers. They're yellow. I don't know if you can't tell if they're focusing. They're yellow skulls, and she calls them lemon heads. Because they're yellow, lemon, get it? Lemonade stand. Very cute, creative. I love that. And she was like, I took a chance on sending them to you because I didn't know if they'd freak you out. Freak me out. It's like they're smiling. It reminds me of Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas, only they're yellow. So I think they're very fun. So Stephanie, thank you for the swap. It was great. She does have an Etsy shop, Stitch Marks the Spot. She sells stitch markers and bags, so go check her out on Etsy. Really cute. Macaroon. Is it macaroon? Macaroon? I don't know. You know, with these things. Okay. So that was work. The other work in progress I have is my officially unofficial Desert Vista Dye Works sock yarn knit along. Sock knit along. I'll put it down below. I can't remember the tag. It's so long. But Susan from Desert Vista Dye Works is doing a yearly knit along where you knit a pair of socks a month with her yarn. And this month I am doing, I guess I'll show it this way because I do cuff down. I kind of explained why in the last episode. But this is her Pitch Perfect yarn. Oh my gosh, if you've not seen the movie Pitch Perfect, stop watching this video and go watch it. It is, I have two favorite movies that I will watch over and over and over and over again. And my first one that I found was P.S. I Love You. That is my all-time favorite sappy love romance. I can quote that movie. And Gerard Butler is, whoo! I like me some Gerard Butler. But that's not the only reason why I like the movie. But it's a heartwarming movie. Hilary Swank is in it, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in it. Gerard Butler. Did I mention Gerard Butler is in it? Anyways, it's just a very touching story. I really love that movie, and I've probably literally seen it 100 times, and that's not a joke, literally. Pitch Perfect is my second. Pitch Perfect is my movie that if I'm sewing or knitting or doing something where I don't necessarily have to like sit down and watch, it's on in the background because it's fun to sing to, and it's got the craziest lines in it. Rebel Wilson is in it. She's crazy. Good crazy. She makes me laugh. And there's a Pitch Perfect 2 coming out in May. May 15th. And my daughter and I cannot wait to go see it. I mean, we have been waiting and waiting and waiting. And one of the best things about that is that, okay, I'm from Illinois, but I am a diehard Packer fan. I know, I was actually born in Wisconsin, so that's part of the reason. I was born and raised in Wisconsin. So, diehard Packer fan, and my favorite player is in Pitch Perfect 2. Mr. Clay Matthews, the guy. You know who I'm talking about, right? He's the one who does his tackle and he's yes. So my other guy is in that movie, so I just can't wait because it's just a fun movie. So that'll probably be my third favorite, I hope. Anyways, tangent. This is my March sock in the Pitch Perfect colorway. Let's see if I can get it to focus better. There we go. It's purples and yellows and grays. And what I really love about this yarn is that it's not just solid purple or solid gray. The yellow is pretty consistently solid, but yellow is kind of a hard color to read anyways. But it's tonal within the stripe. So not only do you have stripes, but the colors are tonal. And I did the Fish Lips Kiss Heel, which they always look funny. Do yours come out like that? It just looks funny. But when you put it on and you block it out, you know, these ridges come out instead of, and I don't know, I just think they're funny. They make me giggle. But I really like the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. And I know people talk about the pattern and how there's so many words and so many pages that it's very daunting. It's really not, especially because I do cuff down. To me, unless you're doing a pattern, if you're working a pattern where you have pattern all the way around the top of your foot, there really isn't necessarily a need to measure. You just basically want to stop on the back where your patterning is about an inch or so before you start the actual Fish Lips Kiss Heel, because that's the part that's going to be like on that back where a normal like slip stitch heel would be. So you don't really want, I mean, you could put your pattern there. That's really not a big deal. It's just going to be thicker, more rough, might not be as comfortable on the back of your heel. But if you're just doing a vanilla sock, to me, there's no reason to measure if you're doing top down, because where your measuring comes in is where your heel fits and down to your toe. If you do toe up, I have done toe up using the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. I did do the diagram and stuff on that, but that was my very first time. I don't know how crucial it is. Excuse me, I just got the hiccups. So I can't really give you an honest opinion about that. I know some people said they've done toe up and they didn't do the cardboard cutout and whatnot, but everybody's feet are so different. So what's good for one person may not be good for another. All I can say is just go for it. If you knit your socks cuff down, knit a vanilla sock and just start at the directions where it tells you about the heel. Don't worry about the other, you know, it's great instructions. I don't want to like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to put down the pattern writer because she did a fabulous job and she had to have put a ton of work into that pattern and then she sells it for $1. That's amazing. So I appreciate the pattern as a whole because you do learn a lot about socks. But I think what comes with knitting socks is your knowledge of what works for you and how you can interpret a pattern to make it work for you. So just try it. We get so used to being in our comfort zone and only knitting what we know. But sometimes it's good to knit something different because you might find that you might like it better. I've been knitting afterthought heels mostly, and like the heel flap and gussets too, but for those, it seems like it takes forever for me to do those, and I don't know why. I like the fish lips kiss heel, I really do. But I really like the afterthought heel too. The only downside to the afterthought heel as opposed to the fish lips kiss heel is that you have more ends to weave in, because I don't do the what do you call it? The running yarn. I actually just knit a tube and then I cut the yarn and unravel and then use those live stitches. So I have more ends to weave in that way, whereas with fish lips kiss, you don't. You just have the top end and the bottom end, and that's it. So win-win, right? So I think for self-striping, I would prefer the afterthought heel though. Just because, like, if you can see in this one, I had one gray stripe right here, one thin, and then it's another purple. And it's not ugly. It's just, I don't know. I think I like this afterthought heel better for self-striping. But anyways, that's one. That's my first sock for that. And this is residing in one of my small knitting nannies. Would help if I tucked in my cord, yes? I got little bits hanging out. Okay. This is my small knitting nanny. And it is perfect for that smaller project, whether it be a hat or socks. And I always have a removable zipper pull here. This does come off. And you can put it back on, and it's because it has this lobster claw clasp. You can hook it to your belt, or you can hook, if you want to put maybe stitch markers on it, or if you want to hook another bag to it. A lot of different things because it has that hook that you can add to it. But it also has, you know, the handle too. So, and all of my bags have some sort of lobster claw clasp like that, and they always have a handle. So that's that. Oh, one other work in progress. And I thought this episode was going to be shorter. Shame on me. Okay. So remember last time when I said that the Caffeinated Knitting girls, Allie and Daniela, were doing a Reiki hat along? And I was going to do it, and I was going to use this yarn. This is Madeline Tosh. Beautiful. I love it. It is so pretty. Reiki has nothing to do with Bankhead, right? So can you tell me why? Because I don't understand. For some reason, instead of casting on the Reiki hat, I cast on another Bankhead. Let's see if we can get that to focus because the yarn is so pretty knit up. Look at that. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Oh, okay. I have knit a Reiki and I have knit a Bankhead, and I loved them both. I have no idea what I was thinking. I don't know why. I had both patterns up on my screen, and I don't know if I was distracted. I don't know. But I cast on for the Bankhead and started knitting the Bankhead. So this is not my Reiki hat knit along. So I'm just going to finish it because I started it and I thought it would be really pretty. So this will be a Bankhead hat. And I'm really kind of curious because I'm using DK. Yeah. This Madeline Tosh is DK, and I'm pretty sure the Bankhead calls for worsted. I'm pretty sure. But the first one I made was kind of big. So I'm hoping using DK and the same needles that it'll be alright. Hopefully. Otherwise I'm going to have to gift it to somebody who has a smaller head. So once I get this off my needles, I am going to actually knit a Reiki. I don't know what I was thinking. Has anybody ever done that? I mean, really. You say I'm going to knit the Reiki and you cast on a Bankhead? I guess I do. I don't get it. Have you done that? Please tell me you've done something similar so I don't feel Looney Tunes. So that's my last work in progress. I don't know why. It's crazy. It's crazy in my head. I don't know why that happened. Okay. Finished objects. Whew. Okay. Now, one of these, remember, I talked about last week and how I think one whole finished socks, ends woven in and everything, is not a hoe, it's a faux, in my opinion. So my first faux is this beauty. Look at it. Oh, I want to get my second sock finished so bad, and I haven't even cast it on yet because I wanted to start on the Desert Vista Dye Works one so that didn't fall by the wayside too. And plus, this is part of Stacy from Mustache Yarns. She's doing a semester of socks education, and it's basically you enroll in a class. I had enrolled in the OMG Heel, and you knit the OMG Heel is by Megan Williams. Hi, Megan! Awesome pattern, by the way. I had never tried the OMG Heel, so I wanted to do that because I'm trying to push myself into that. You know, how do you know if you don't like it if you don't try it? So I signed up for that, and Megan's syllabus is that in the first 2 weeks you knit one sock, and in the second 2 weeks you knit the second. So that's part of the reason I haven't cast on the other one, is because this upcoming week will be the second week. So I didn't want to rush through it, even though I'm dying to wear these socks. So I did this cuff down, and there are 20 stripes in this sock. 20. And I squeaked out 2 repeat patterns. And the way I did that was I started, there's just a thin line of purple at the top, which is fine. And then I knit until I actually knit the whole roll of purple because I wanted a full row of that in. And then I did the OMG Heel, which I have a bit of a gap here, and I think I know why. I think when I was moving my stitches, I stretched them myself. So that was user knitter error, not the pattern. The pattern is wonderful. And then after I knit the OMG Heel, I kept going, and it just so happened, here's the other purple, and I had 2 more colors. So I did get 2 full repeats of the 20 stripes, which I was so excited about. But look at those colors. Are they not gorgeous? Stacy, you're amazing. And I can't even imagine dyeing. There's so much work that goes into just dyeing, either pot dyeing or hand painting. I can't even imagine the work that goes into self-striping. And I talked about this last week too, about I just envy anybody who does self-striping. But 20 stripes? Amazing. So that's one finished objects. Oh, the yarn is Kama Sutra. Unfortunately, she isn't dyeing it for the general public. She did dye it specifically for her class, so unfortunately you can't get it unless you happen to get it in a D-stash or something like that. But yes, so that will be cast on. The second one will be cast on this week. And my other finished objects, I showed you one last week, but now I can show you both this week, are my rainbow socks. This yarn is Lollipop yarn in the Beefcake base, and it's called Rainbow Connection, which makes me think of Kermit the Frog. Right? Yeah, Kermit the Frog. And these knit up so fast because I knit them on a size 2 needle. And this is another pair where I knit one top down and one toe up. I don't think I'll ever knit toe up again. I just don't like the bind off, how it looks. And I know you're going to wear it on your leg and nobody's going to see it. But even the process is painful. I would much rather Kitchener 14 stitches at the end of the toe than cast off 64 stitches. Oh, I just don't like it. I don't like the process. I don't like the look. It's just me being picky, really. There's nothing wrong with it for people who do it. I know a lot of people will do toe up because they want to use the entire skein. I don't really do that. These are tall. These are tall for me. And so is this. I usually never knit my socks that tall. Usually they're like, you know, here. But I wanted to get the full repeat in this one. And this one I just had fun. I just kept going and going and I was like, oh, I guess I should start at the foot. So that's these. And they don't match. But I don't care because they're so pretty. They're so pretty. They don't need to match. I do try to match my socks sometimes, but I'm not super anal about it where if they don't match, I'm not going to wear them or whatever. It's not that important to me. So that's, sadly, I only have socks for finished objects. And that's partly just because I've been doing knit-alongs and stuff like that have involved socks. Because I love to knit socks. I really do. I've just had so much fun and watching them progress and learning new techniques. Socks are what brought me back into knitting. I kind of went on hiatus for a while and I didn't really knit even before then. I never really finished anything. And a part of it was, you know, lack of choice in yarn. Poor choice in yarn. And just motivation. And I can't stop knitting socks. So you will probably frequently see socks on my podcast. So those are done. And now really all I have is enabling. Yeah. And what is it with enabling? Stash enhancement. Breeding. Ellie and Dave from FO and Die podcast. I think they call their stash enhancements breeding. I think. Is that what they call it? It's something similar to that. And it makes me laugh every time because I think about my own stash and how it's multiplied. And you know what it reminds me of is, y'all seen the movie Gremlins, right? The little mogwai. And if you got water on them, what he would do? Pop, 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 pop. There'd be more mogwais. I think that's what happens. I think somebody during the night comes in and splashes water on my yarn and it goes pop, 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 and it just multiplies. How does it happen? You try to be so good. I try so hard to be good and not buy because I have so much yarn. I mean, there's no way I can knit that in a year. But there's just yarn that you have to have. So you get it and there it sits. Why does that happen? There's always going to be yarn around. But my brain says, yeah, but I want that yarn. Because if I don't get it now, it might not be available when I think about it and really want it. Man, I wish I would have bought that. I know I'm not the only one that has this problem. I try so hard. I'll be like, you get that gut reaction like, oh, I need it, I have to have it. And you put it in your cart and you sit there and you're like, okay, no, I'll be good. And then something happens. I'll give you an example. I was watching Diane from the Suburban Stitcher, her podcast, her last one. And she's so sweet. I love to watch her just because she has a generous heart and she's just fantastic and sweet and motherly and just all around nice. I can see that she would be somebody that I could sit down and have a conversation with and it would be fun. And she has her little quirks too, but she's just really nice to watch. And she was doing her own podcast and she got to her stash enhancements. And she showed some yarn from Loops. And they do a book club every month. And I honestly don't remember what the book is this month. I can't remember. Anyways, they dye up yarn specifically for their book club. And I had seen it. I frequent their shop on Etsy quite often. I don't always buy. I try to be good because obviously I have so much yarns. I really try to show some restraint. And I've seen this yarn. I had it in my cart, took it out of my cart. I'm like, nope, I can't. So what does Diane do? She shows them both on her podcast, and I see them. And while she's still talking about them, I'm on my iPad adding them to my cart. And I'm watching and I'm looking and oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Next thing I know, I'm getting an email saying, thank you for your purchase. What just happened there? Seriously, what happened? How is it that I can go from, I don't need any more yarn, to almost unconsciously adding this yarn to my cart and purchasing it with no restraint whatsoever? That's how I have this stash. That's how I have all this yarn. No restraint. I really need to try to be good. I really do. And I keep saying that. And look what happens. Okay. Now you have to realize this is 2 weeks worth. And some of this was yarn that was ordered prior to me recording the last time. So it seems like a lot. It is a lot. But it's mostly because it's been 2 weeks. So let me start with... Okay. I have been looking at this shop and this yarn for some time. And again, I've been trying to be good. Obviously that doesn't work for me. I finally caved and bought some of this yarn. Look at this tag. Come on. Focus. There. Look how cute that is. And then if you look at the other side, kitten. And the yarn is so pretty. Look at that. I couldn't resist anymore. I bought it. Beth from Foxes in Socks. Her and her sister Carrie do a podcast, Foxes in Socks. And I always want to say Foxes and Sockses. And I can't remember who it was I was watching said that same thing. They said Foxes and Sockses. And I chuckled because that's how I say it, even though I know it's Foxes in Socks. But Beth has ranted and raved and ranted some more and raved some more about this yarn. So I finally caved and I got some. And it's beautiful. It's so pretty. It's speckly and pink and teal and little spots of like orange and brown. It's just, I can't wait to knit this. I can't wait. So that's one. And then I had also said that I ordered from the Lemonade Shop, the last time too. I bought 2 more on one of her updates. But thank goodness for me, she is on a hiatus right now because she is on spring break with her kids. If I remember correctly. I think she's on spring break with her kids. And then she is moving into a new studio. Whew, so she's going to have more room and more yarn and bigger sales, and it's going to be great. So I ordered 2 more from her. So now I have 4 of hers. Look at these beauties. This one is Toxic Oreo, this one. And the bright one is Sunshine and Lollipops. Gorgeous. She had this skein of yarn in her shop and I wanted it so bad, and I once again held restraint. It was called I Like Cake, I think. I Like Cake. It was white and it was speckled. And it reminded me of confetti cake, and it reminded me of a pair of socks that Kay from the Bakery Bears podcast knit up. Loved it. And I had already had these ordered and she was dyeing them up. And I had already had the other 2. And I was like, do I really need more? No. I don't want to be greedy. But that skein stayed in her shop, I swear, for a week. And I saw it every day. I was like, oh, it's still in her shop. The last update she had was, I don't think it was this last Friday. I think it was the Friday before. It was still there. So she was doing her update. I was looking to see what she had, and it was still there. I put it in my cart, and I went to buy it. I got cart checked. That silly skinny yarn was in her shop for a week, and I got cart checked. It wasn't meant to be. So someday I will get that yarn if she dyes it again, because it was just really pretty. Confetti cake. Okay. Minerva Turkey is at fault for this one. She had shown a skein of yarn from Knitty and Color, Sarah. She dyed up this Nebula colorway on her sparkle base. Focus. Look at that. Shannon showed this on her podcast, Minerva Turkey Knits, and pretty much the same scenario. While she was podcasting, I put it in my cart and checked out, and I was like, oh, guess that yarn's mine. That yarn is mine too. Okay. I know this is terrible, isn't it? It's terrible. How am I ever going to knit all this yarn? I'm embarrassed a little bit, but I'm excited at the same time because, okay. Have y'all heard of hedgehog fibers? You have, right? They're out of Ireland. Yeah, they dye out of Ireland. I had gotten a couple skeins of it for Christmas, and I knit up a pair of socks right away, and they are one of my favorite pairs because the yarn is so incredibly soft and easy to knit with, and it's just beautiful colors. And that darned Loopy Ewe sells it. So I went on Loopy Ewe and I found two. Look. The green one is called Pod, and the pinkish red one is called Secret. They're just so pretty. Those little tags. This green one though, I think I'm gonna knit that one first. It's just so pretty. I can't even. I want all of their yarns. All of them. They're so beautiful. Okay. I also got another Desert Vista Dye Works. Let's see if I can get some light on that there. Now this one, when I got this one, I thought it was a Zombody colorway, and I think it is because it's speckled. And when I looked for it, I clicked on the Zombody catalog to get all of them, and this came up, but it's called Tiptoe Through the Tulips. So usually your Zombody colorways has Zombody in it somehow or some reflection of it, but I think based on the way that it's spotted, I think it's still a Zombody colorway. I'm not sure though. Does anybody know? I think it is though. But it's so pretty. And I'm getting all of the Zombody colorways, and she just came out with 2 or 3 more. Those will be mine. My biggest amount of yarn, like quantity of skeins from a single dyer, is Susan from Desert Vista Dye Works. Her yarn is beautiful to knit. It's soft, and her striping is amazing. And the colors she uses and her inspiration is amazing. She has one now, Little Shop of Horrors. It's based off the Little Shop of Horrors. Right? Yeah, Little Shop of Horrors. It'll be mine. Sooner or later, it'll be mine. Okay, I think that's it. Oh no, I have one more, but not yarn. Speaking of bags, look at this. This is Fault of Lydia from the O-Loops. She's one of the O-Loops girls. Her podcast, her and Lydia and Sarah's podcast is Fiber by Design, I believe. They do the podcast together, and she showed this on her last one, and it is from the Silver Shed. You can see that? Come on. There we go. Cute bag. Cute bag. There's polka dots on the inside, which I love. I'm a huge fan of polka dots. If you ever notice when I'm making bags, if a lot of the bags have interior polka dots, that's a sign of my obsession with polka dots. But it has a soft interfacing or lining. It's like padded. It's really squishy, and I really like it. And it's a decent size. It's like, I don't know, mid-project size. A lot of fun cameras on it. I really like this bag, so I can't wait to use it. I don't have anything in it yet, but maybe my Ricky hat will go in it. All right, I think that's it, guys. I've been talking a long time. Again! Oh my gosh, again! We'll see, but thank you everybody for being here, and I hope you had a good time, and I hope you got a few chuckles and laughs because, you know, hey, it's okay to laugh. I laugh at myself all the time. So do my kids. So I will say goodbye for now, but I hope you guys are having great weather and good times and healthy, happy days, and I will see you next time. Have a magical day. Bye!